So in this tutorial we are going to cover normalization and loudness correction. What is the difference between them? When do I do normalization or loudness correction, and for what purpose? So let's start with normalization, which is a process which we do at the start of a session before even starting to edit the audio. So basically, you've compiled your edit of your footage, and now you're going to process your audio and edit it. The first thing that we need to do is to make sure that by and large our audio, for example the dialogue, is around the same level. So we don't have parts where part of the dialogue is very soft, and either we have parts on the other hand which are very loud. So that's why we normalize audio, so that by and large the dialogue is round about the same level. Okay, so basically all we need to do is we select the clip, right click and click on normalize audio levels. And when we normalize audio levels, we usually select a target of -10 dB for audio. Remember that I had told you that for dialogue we should record from -6 to -12. Yep, ideally. And dialogue also in footage usually is around -10 dBFS. So that's why we are choosing -10 dBFS as the target level. And then we click normalize. Now, if you have multiple clips selected, this option might change and you could have another option, which is set level to relative or independent. Yep. So what is this? Relative meaning that it's going to take into consideration the levels of those two clips that you have selected. And independent is that the algorithm is going to set the level -10 dBFS according to the individual clips that you have selected. And I would choose in this case independent, okay, so that all clip is independently normalized, and then I choose normalize. So by and large my audio here should be normalized around -10.
Yes.
Now, this doesn't mean that I won't have very loud parts or very um, uh, soft parts in my audio. But I still can have peaks. Okay, if we see that our audio has a lot of peaks and a lot of difference between the loudest part and the softest part, meaning in other words a huge dynamic range or a large dynamic range, we need to compress that dynamic range, reduce that dynamic range by a compressor. And that's where a compressor comes in handy for especially dialogue, so that the difference between the loudest part of the dialogue and the softest part won't be that much, and we can hear the dialogue comfortably at all times. Notice that compression is different than normalization, because compression adjusts the level according to a given threshold. So if you use compression, this is going to change. The dynamic range is going to change all the time. It's not set for one audio file. Okay, so that is normalization, and then I spoke about compression as well. Now, loudness correction. So imagine that you have then edited your audio, you have processed it with reverb, EQ, so on and so forth, and you are ready. You have your mix ready, you have all the audio balanced out and mixed well. Now you just need to export everything, but you know that you should pay attention to the overall average level. طيب. of loudness. Okay, so that if we want to broadcast this, it will be good. طيب, and according to the EBUR 128 standard. So what we need to do first is to bounce our audio into a track. Bounce our whole mix into a track. So we go to this option in the timeline menu, bounce mix to track. So I click on this and I choose my main output, to bounce my main output طيب, into a new track. I click OK, and then of course it will start rendering my whole project. So right now we're bouncing the whole mix طيب. So we're going to correct the whole mix طيب, because everything is ready, my mixing is ready. So all I need to adjust now is the overall level of my mix to be according to the EBUR 128 standard. So that's finished, and now I should have a new track. It should appear somewhere here. Okay, here it is. Yes, audio 11. It's here. So let me zoom out so you can see it. So this is my whole track. Okay, so this contains my whole mix. So if I solo this, you should hear everything. Okay, everything. And we're going to select this and adjust the audio level. But first we need to analyze it. So we will analyze it to see where the level is at. طيب, and we're going to analyze it according to the loudness standard of EBUR 128. We're analyzing now. Of course it takes some time because this is quite a bit long طيب, than the examples I had previously done in class. And we now know that we have a true peak, the most loud point, which is 0.2 dBFS over 0. So we need to get that down, and we need to also get this value down, minus 21.6 to minus 23. So at least I need to get everything down by 2 dB. So what I do is I just reduce the volume from here, or you can reduce the volume also from the inspector. Okay, and this should do the job. So I click on analyze audio levels again, and now my loudness is minus 24.3 lufs. Okay, so it's fairly 1 dB, 1 luf under the minus 23 required. Okay, and now the peak has gone down to minus 2.5 dBFS. Perfect. So well, I could adjust it to be just under minus 23 if you like, but it's fine like this. So what I could do now is right click and bounce clip to files. Okay, so to bounce this, the easiest way to do it is to bounce the clip to files. So let's bounce it, for example, into the desktop. Okay, so let's just click desktop here and bounce it to the desktop. Format multi-channel, bit depth 24, clip name. Yes, I could FL main, that's fine. I will. Okay, so now ideally what I would do, the easiest way to do it is to create a new timeline, and I will name it final cut, for example. I would import my main mix. Okay, so I will find that it should be in the desktop. Okay, so I click and drag this here, and now I will remain it so I won't confuse it with anything else. Final cut sound, and I will move it here. I will do the same for my final cut, so I will um, import my whole clip over here, and I will bounce them then from the deliver page. Okay, so this is what I would do, and this is the easiest way to do it. Because otherwise, if you try and bounce the final mix from the deliver page in the same timeline, it can get a bit confusing. So I would do it this way. I hope that this is clear, and I hope that you now see the difference between normalization and loudness correction, and you know when to do them and how to do both. If you need any help, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you.